Hello, my regulars, and welcome new listeners to the Reese on the Regular podcast. I am so excited for this episode, guys. I have Brianna and Sabrina, the best twins ever, with me today.
My name's Sabrina. I go to the University of Massachusetts Lowell, and I am a business student.
I'm Brianna Leet. I go to Bridgewater State University, and I'm studying speech pathology.
So they're both on awesome paths, and we go back to dance. We started dancing together. How old were we? Like middle school. Long time ago, long time friends, and we stayed close, which I'm so happy about. But they just got back from a long study abroad experience, and I am so excited for today's episode because I want to hear all about it. I feel like this is going to be so good for anyone who's planning to study abroad or if you're heading abroad soon. This is just going to be so helpful to even inspire people who don't even think they want to go abroad to go abroad. So I'm excited to hear from you guys. And when did you guys get back?
Just a little over a week ago,
so
on the 22nd.
Everything's fresh in your minds, I'm sure. Yes. I'm just going to ask you guys everything and anything, and I'm excited to hear all about it.
Yeah, we're excited.
If you guys want to start by just telling everyone where you guys studied abroad and for how long.
We studied abroad in Athens, Greece. We were there for 3.5 months.
But we also went to Rome, we went to Barcelona, and we went to Switzerland.
Oh my God, that's
and many different
awesome.
islands within Greece.
How did you guys make the decision to go to Athens?
So it's actually funny because before we even made the decision on like where to go, I think it's just like you make that decision of going abroad, but I actually chose to go first. My roommate, it kind of inspired me. She went to Cyprus, which I thought was super cool, super interesting. So I thought like, hey, why don't I go to abroad? I feel like it's a great thing to study abroad while you're in college. I don't know, I feel like it's convenient. I made the final decision like over my winter break, and Brianna was like, hey, like why don't we go together? And I was like, okay.
And to be honest, I was scared. I was like, no, I'm not going alone. I can't. I thought I was never going to go because I just couldn't do it by myself. I mean, I probably could, but I was like, I think it's better that like we went together.
Right. I think that's so cool that you guys went together. Like, I would love to bring Brooke with me, but that'd be a tough one. With like that decision, what made you guys choose Greece specifically?
When choosing the location, you have to like decide what program you want to go through because this specific program will like guide you through the process. And so I think when we were deciding the location, we wanted to figure out which program both of our schools had because we go to different schools. We saw Greece and we were like, that looks so fun. Within the website, it showed like all the locations, like the excursions that they bring you on.
Right.
It's included within like tuition. And so everything to us sounded really fun.
I mean, also like what kind of stunk for me, like a little bit of a con was like I couldn't go for my major because we wanted to do it together. So we had to see what school had both finance classes as well as I'm a psych minor, so I took psych classes there. We also looked like what kind of is the cheaper option too, and it was Greece, but we did so many things as well.
Also like finding which programs and locations are kind of similar to your tuition costs. I don't know, because when it came to
very
us,
true.
We didn't want to spend like way more than what we were already spending, you know what I mean?
You would think it would be way more, but honestly, like most of the programs are like it's like pretty equivalent for like everything you're getting out of it.
Yes.
Versus like being in a dorm. You're like, wow.
Like the housing, the excursions, like just all the different things that you do. Price is reasonable.
Did you guys look at any other options other than Greece, or was that kind of just like an immediate pick for you?
I was thinking like more like Italy and Portugal because again, that's where our families are from, but then I was looking at the cost and like, especially to go for my major, it was like 25 to 30,000 just for a semester.
Yeah.
And of course that's before financial aid. But again, I didn't think I was getting much aid. So I'm like, I'm not going to go go crazy just for one semester.
I looked at Italy as well. I also looked at Spain. Spain looked really nice too, but we did trips to those places as well. Obviously we didn't stay there for 3.5 months and get like that full experience, but it was still nice seeing it.
Yeah, that's like the great thing about abroad. Like you get to go everywhere anyways. So
exactly.
It's really about like picking the place you want to spend the most time in, and that just makes the most sense.
I spoke a lot to it's like a study abroad advisor that they had, and she really helped like guide me like what classes I could take.
Making
like,
sure you're on track.
Right, yeah, making sure I didn't like graduate like a semester behind. She definitely helped me a lot, and then with the program that we were into, they had advisors as well.
And so what program did you guys go through? What was it called?
It was called ISA, so
Okay.
it stands for International Studies Abroad. And honestly, like, they were really helpful. I would also say, like, my study abroad counselor was, like, way helpful, too. They actually help you, like, fill out, like, scholarship applications as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I highly recommend applying for the Gilman Scholarship because it's $5,000 towards your study abroad experience. But you do have to write 3 essays, but they're not hard essays to like develop, but they do help you with it. In my school, like they helped me outline the essay, draft it. I had to go to a workshop with them, and they gave me $500 just for doing that, which was nice.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
I think they definitely help you prepare for it too, and like they had meetings that we would go to, just like prepare us for something called like culture shock, something that you get there, and then I guess you can also get culture shock coming home as like a thing. So like they would discuss that a lot.
Yeah.
They would like tell you how much money to bring, what to do when you get there, the paperwork. Oh my god, the paperwork just to go abroad is like
crazy.
insane.
There's
Applying
too
for a
much.
visa and
Yes,
like
yes.
The
everything.
visa process.
All of
Yeah.
it.
It's a headache. But
Yeah, so my program's API that I'm going through right
Okay,
now,
okay.
just like a similar thing. I've gone
Yeah.
to them a lot so far for just like the beginning process, but that's good that they've prepared you guys too for like culture shock coming back,
Right.
like
Yes.
things you wouldn't think about.
Right.
Yes, I know.
Exactly.
So obviously a lot of planning goes into study abroad.
Yes.
How did you guys plan, just to start, how did you guys plan financially?
We made the final decision in January and we left in September. So we had like 9 months to figure out like how much to save. Just kind of come up with like a rough
ballpark.
estimate,
Yeah.
of like how much money to save up before going. And like obviously when you go, like you don't want to like drown your whole bank account. So it's like financially you have to be very specific on like I guess like what like a monthly budget would be, or just like what you really want to like spend your money on. Something that we had talked about too was like how many trips we wanted to go on, like if we wanted to do big trips. For example, for Thanksgiving, we went to Rome for I think like 5 days, and then we went to Switzerland. It was literally I think like from Friday to Sunday. We were there like 2 nights. I think we just had to figure out like what we really wanted to spend our money on, I guess. We didn't like write down on a piece of paper like what we were spending each month, but we were definitely very careful.
Just an estimate, like depending on how much you want to spend or how much
Right.
you're going into it. I personally I was like, okay, I feel like $4,000 is good for the whole, 3.5 months that I'm there. So I think we tried to do a ballpark of like 1,000 a month. Yes, we
Yeah.
probably went over it some months
I go
than
over it,
others.
yeah.
I've also seen other people be like, you should bring $10,000
Right,
3 months.
I've heard it all. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
so it's like it's honestly like really up to you and like what you want to spend your money on. It just comes down to just like being careful on like what you spend your money on, because when you're in Europe, people know that you're American, you know what I mean? So they will scam you. So
just kind of like be knowledgeable. In
Be
a way.
aware,
right.
Yes.
And,
And,
like-
the pickpocketing. Be
Yes, yeah.
aware. It didn't. Thank God, it didn't happen to us.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't have a bag that's just open. I would like when we were in Italy, especially Italy, because I know you're going. I kept my cards in my jeans.
If you had a bag, just like putting it in front of you and just like keeping your hand on it to make sure no one would open it.
Yes.
With pickpocketers too, what they'll try to do, because you don't know that they're pickpocketers. Obviously, they're good. They're good at
They're
what
very
they
good.
do.
They're very good. at what they do.
And so sometimes like children will come up to you.
Distract you.
Yeah.
While their parent is like taking it, and it's like, whoa.
Wow.
Like,
I've heard of someone in like the
Crazy.
situation where a little kid was like tugging on their stuff, like
oh yes. Yeah.
so. Yeah,
Oh,
just be
boy.
careful. And another thing that we did that I think everyone should do if you're going abroad is getting a credit card that has like no foreign transaction fees.
One of our roommates, when she would use her debit card somewhere, someone ended up hacking into it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it would get shut down.
Yeah.
And this happened to I think like 2 of her cards, right?
Yeah,
Her
I
debit
think-
cards. So
Yeah.
if anything, I would just try and use your credit card at a lot of places, and I would also ask your advisor when you get to the certain country what ATMs you can trust, because there are some that obviously just take your card and you never get it back.
Right.
Our school, we got lucky, had an ATM, so we would just take out cash.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, the one we got was through Capital One. It was called Saver One, so that's a very
Saver One.
yeah, that's a good card to get.
I would just honestly advise not using your debit card at all. Just like when it came to like paying for things, I wouldn't use it at all, because you have that risk of somebody hacking it. I'm pretty sure it's easier to recover a credit card rather than your debit card.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say like my big thing was like, okay, I need to work. Like, because first of all, I have a car that I also have to pay for too. So I'm like, even though it kind of stinks, I still have bills at home. But I mean, I also have to think about like how much am I budgeting for abroad.
Like a ballpark. Too.
Yeah.
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 You don't want to be too hard on yourself,
Right,
but you don't want to come home broke either.
No, right. Yes.
Another big question. How do you prepare to pack? What do you pack?
Oh my gosh. So
We're very different.
Yeah,
actually.
we're the complete opposite. I am like an insanely I'm really bad. Well, I'm an overpacker. Like
Yes, that's
just
me.
flat out like I'm really bad at like overpacking. I have a hard time like limiting myself as to like what I should bring, because I think to myself and I'm like, "Oh, but maybe I'm going to need that." If I was to do it again, I would just pack the basics, you know, because I got a lot of clothes when we were away and when we were packing to come home.
She had to
like-
put sweaters in my carry-on and my suitcase, and I was like, I can't. But see what I did. I packed a lot of my summer clothes because, again, where I was going was hot. But I also like, I packed enough clothes for the week. I had to do laundry every week, obviously.
Oh.
I packed enough clothes.
No, it was so
lasted me for a week, honestly. And
How?
no, right?
I would feel like something's missing.
know.
I need to
And
go home.
And then by the end of like the trip, I got so sick of like I kept saying, I was like, I can't wait to just like go home to my wardrobe and just like wear the clothes. I don't even know. I just like by the end of it, I felt like I had nothing. I was like, I'm wearing the same stuff all the time. I can't do this anymore.
But I will say, obviously pack like a really comfortable pair of sneakers, because you're going to do a lot of walking. I'm sure everyone's heard that.
Yeah.
They want to study abroad. But also, if you want like maybe packing like, I don't know, like a casual pair of sneakers or something like that, just to like go out in or whatever. And I know I really wouldn't go crazy with the shoes, because again, you got to pack, like she had like 5 or 6 pairs of shoes to go home with. And it's like,
No,
oh my
it was
gosh.
so bad. But
Yeah.
what I would do is pack a pair of, just like one pair of sneakers. I'm really bad with shoes because I love sneakers and shoes in general. So just like if I were to do it again, I would pack one pair of sneakers, which is what I did. One pair of like comfy like leather shoes
Okay.
to last you throughout the trip. I got a pair. If anyone needs a recommendation, I got
Everyone's like, we don't want
no,
it.
right? I got a pair of Vehas. They definitely are like on the pricier side, but they're a really good like quality leather shoe, I guess. And like I walked with them every day, and they're still in great condition.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go a cheaper route, there are these shoes by Adidas called Stan Smiths. Okay, they are also very comfortable, and I wore them probably every day, and yeah, they lasted me.
I like both options.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And even just to walk around your dorm too.
Pack a pair like
Flip flops or something, even like
yeah.
shower shoes too, if you wanted.
Okay.
And I mean, you could easily get a cheap pair of slippers too to walk around your dorm too.
And if you're studying somewhere warm, make sure you still bring a winter
Right.
jacket.
Oh,
the cold
yeah.
trips.
That's where we went wrong. We did not bring any sort of winter coat. It's tough doing that though, because it's like when you're packing, you're like, well, like you leaving, like you're probably gonna wear a winter coat because it's gonna be freezing here. But
Right.
it's like
Yes.
we left in beginning of September. It was still hot. We're like, I'm not bringing my winter coat.
Jacket, I don't need
And
it.
then when we went to Switzerland, we were like screwed.
I was
because-
sorry. I
because
was really like.
I refused to buy a winter jacket because I was like, I have one at home. I'm not, like, this is
I
gonna be such a
know.
waste. Like, I'm not gonna bring it home. And I wish I did because it was awful. I was freezing. It was Switzerland's like first snowfall of like their season, but it was still fun.
But we had to do layers, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Like we made the best of it. Greece's weather is very like it's usually very hot, and when we got there, it was hot. It was like 90, 80 degrees, and then
Until like end of October.
yeah,
honestly,
till
like-
end of
You
October.
guys got there in September? Or?
September.
So it didn't start cooling down until I would say probably like mid-November.
yeah,
So we were still
Wow.
wearing, but like even in November we were still wearing like
wearing
shorts,
shorts.
and a t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially where we had to walk to For some reason, like the housing that they gave us, they had like multiple different buildings to live in, but our building was a mile away from the actual campus, and it was like an all like.
It's a 20-minute walk.
Yeah, it was
uphill, like gradual uphill, and I was like, all right, I'm in it. We're gonna do this. But I also didn't want to pack too much because again, you're going to do shopping, right?
Especially in Italy. Like
yes.
In Greece, it was significantly cheaper than what it was in the
what
US.
I've heard.
And that was the thing. Like we knew, like okay, we are gonna like try to pack as light as we can, but also we're gonna buy a ton of stuff there because it wasn't as expensive. Even just to eat, like literally, like we would get these things called Yitos, and they were like €3.60. That was a meal. Like that's crazy.
Like, we would go out with like us two and like another one of our roommates, and like I think our bill would literally come to like €18. Like it was not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any other items that like you were surprised about, like, wow, that was a great thing to pack, or like something you wish you had packed?
I would make sure to pack the stuff that you know that you can't get in Europe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you have like any like medication, for me it was like my acne medication. Like I can't get that. Although they do have a pharmacy, it's like you want to have your
specific.
Yeah. But like when it came to stuff like shampoo, conditioner, we just got it there. Like we're not taking up space in our suitcase.
What comes in handy on the long plane ride is that neck pillow that we forgot to bring, and we suffered on the
How far was like how long?
So the first flight was 7 hours to Germany, and then it was like 2.5 hours to Greece. Yeah.
Coming home, it was longer. Because I don't know if it's like you're going against the wind.
Yeah.
Type thing. And so we flew for like a total of like probably like 11 hours. Wow. And so we bought a neck pillow. Well, I bought a neck pillow like at the airport because I was like, I can't like.
Yeah.
That was our savior because your neck is gonna kill you.
Something that I wish that I got before I left was, I think you can get like these like travel backpacks on like Amazon.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been looking at those. Okay. It's like pretty much a suitcase as a backpack.
I would get that because when you're traveling, if you're going by plane, a lot of the airlines will weigh your carry-on beforehand, and then you'll have to check it in. When like, I don't know, like me personally, I just like to have it with me, but like it's a backpack. It's a personal item, like you just put it under the.
Yeah.
Like when you do your weekend trips, what we kind of didn't look into that much was the ticket was like, okay, your carry-on has to be a certain weight, and we're like, what?
You know, when we got there, they're like, all right, guys, we're gonna weigh your carry-ons, and we're like, like,
all right, next time, backpack.
How'd you guys emotionally prepare? Like, I know there's probably a lot of like fears and like leaving home.
It's definitely very sad leaving, and the day that you leave is honestly probably like the worst day ever. Like I just wanted to go at that point because it's just like the whole day is just so sad because you know you're not coming home for like another 3.5 months. But I feel like having each other there was definitely such a comfort thing. It's easier than just going by yourself. Like it's nice having someone that you know. I printed a bunch of pictures like from home when we got to our dorm in Greece, hung them up on the wall to like at least help you a little bit with homesickness. Yeah.
I will say too, like I know we were lucky enough because we got to go together, but even if you are going alone, like we connected with this girl. Her name is Francesca. She was amazing. And like she honestly helped me like not feel homesick. Like even though I had Sabrina, but like it's just like I feel like even if you are alone, like you will connect.
You're gonna
with
find,
someone. You will, and it's gonna make the whole experience much easier. But like leaving was the literal hardest part.
Oh my god!
Because like everyone's like, "All right, are you ready?"
I know.
And it's like no, no, you want to go. Like, but obviously, of course, you want to go.
Yes.
It's like I need to be on the plane. Like, I remember us saying, "We're like." We need to be on this plane.
And I remember the first night, like I said to Brianna, like when we got there, I turned to Brianna and I go, do you think we made the wrong choice?
Because look, we got to Greece and I think we were expecting like Mykonos, like the blue, like the waters in front of us and like the, you know, the white buildings with the blue roofs, and we get to the city and we're like, oh my god, this is not what we were expecting. Like you acclimate. You
acclimate to it so quickly that like it became like a new home like that.
Right.
And it was so sad leaving.
My aunt bought me a study abroad journal. You could collect things, write in it and everything. And I was like, all right, this is going to be good because I can write everything down. That's what made me like look forward to it. I was like actually excited. I was like, oh my God, I get to like look back and be like, wow, I did all of these things.
Right.
Whereas like, okay, I need to look more towards like the positive than like, oh, I'm like leaving everybody too.
Exactly.
And like also too, like I do have a boyfriend. Like we wrote to each other in a journal. It was cool to do that too. Like it was nice.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, okay, yes, you're sad that you're leaving, but it's also like you're gonna see them again.
Exactly.
Like look forward to that. Look
You
forward
just-
to the experience that you're gonna have.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like you just have to keep in mind, like, this is only temporary. Like, you are coming home. And honestly, I think we were sadder leaving Greece than we were leaving here. Because obviously, you're leaving your study abroad. It's like, who knows if you're going back? Like, you don't
Right.
know if you're going back. So it's like, I feel like that was definitely sadder leaving than, like, leaving here to go there.
And did family, friends, anyone come visit you guys while you were there?
So, no. And honestly, you know what though? I think it was the best thing because, like,
No hate to anybody.
no, like if you want to, please, if your families want to visit, definitely have them visit. But I think it would have been harder for us because they would leave and then we'd be like, oh, like we haven't had a lot
Right.
to see them. Like it's sad. And for some of our roommates, like their families came to visit and they were sad.
Around the holidays, I feel like, especially like when families would come to visit, would be like that halfway point, and like it would be like around Thanksgiving.
What did help is we made literally like the best friend in Greece. Like she
with a local.
with a local, yeah. So her name is Greg. She is amazing. And we went to this gelato place, and I think we've had gelato way too many times than we can count. We like started going every time she was working, and we would just hang out with her. She invited us over her house to like
Oh
she
my
cooked a meal for us. Like we started to become so close, and now we literally talk every day.
That's
we actually called each other
awesome.
before we came here.
Aw.
So it's like
Yeah.
that helps.
I feel like it's such a special thing because it made us realize how different things were back in the US than like how they were here. And for me, I thought it was really interesting, just like how they do things in general. I was really interested in like pay wages, like what their hourly pay is compared to like the US.
We learned a lot about that. We learned a ton of Greek words.
Oh my God, I bet. Like you came home, you're using them
I'm
all.
like, I know what that means. I can say this, I can say that. But yeah, that was really cool because even just like we got down to like deep conversations that we like talk about like what's the difference like with Greek, the way Greece does things versus like America. And it was
Right.
cool to just like talk about that stuff.
When you guys went, did you have any familiarity with like the language or not really at all?
So our stepmom is Greek, and we go to like a ton of her like family gatherings and stuff like that. So we've definitely been around a lot of people who speak Greek. We were definitely exposed to like a lot of their culture and like what they do. Seeing that and then like going to Greece and also seeing that was also like really cool. The food they had, like we've had here all the time. Like our stepmom makes it for us, stuff like that. And we're like, oh my God, that like we have that at home.
That's
Like,
cool.
Or
Yeah.
like her family when they do Greek Easter, like the lamb literally like roasting. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy, but it's like that is
That's,
their
like, the
They're
normal,
normal.
yeah.
Like they,
Yeah.
that's what they do for Easter. Like so, those are things we were kind of exposed to, and especially like the Greek language. Not that we could pick it up. But, I mean, it was cool that we knew a little bit about it, and that she
Right.
could tell us a little bit about it too, like before we went, kind of.
Yeah.
thing.
Did you find like language to be a tough thing at all for you?
yes.
Yeah.
And especially their language too is
It's
so.
harder to-
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's like, forget reading it. We can, like, they're
Oh,
like,
no.
because they have like, I don't know, their alphabet is like a lot of it's symbols. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yes.
like, forget trying to do that, but even just like trying to learn it, just like simple phrases like hello, bye, just simple stuff, I guess, did come in handy sometimes, especially
Yeah.
like going to the grocery store, or,
Right.
like going to like, I don't know, like
Google Translate is your best friend. Like, just like they have a cool like feature. You can take a picture,
yeah.
and like it translates it for you because we couldn't find butter for the long. It sounds so like stupid, but we literally
But,
couldn't
yeah.
find butter for the longest time. I don't think we ever did. We literally
Yeah, I
just
don't
used
think we ever-
margarine. Yeah, because we're like, I don't know. We got lucky because in Athens they do speak English more, so it's Greek and English, which was nice. But there were parts when we'd go away where they didn't speak any English, and
Yeah,
like
and that's tough.
we were like, ooh, like I don't know how we're gonna do this, but like again, we ended up always figuring out a
Yeah.
way.
Or just like being in situations where like everybody around you speaks Greek and like you only speak English, and it's like you feel so, I don't know, in a sense, like that you like don't belong.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're kind of like
I
missing out on the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, and it's like I wish.
Knew we guys were talking about.
Yeah. Like it's nothing that I was ever mad about. Like it was just like,
Right.
like oh, like I wish I could understand like what was
it's
going.
different.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to accept it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be fine. Like we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I
You have
also
to
think
just
it's
figure it
such
out.
like a great thing that we were like exposed to that.
Yeah.
We were kind of forced to like come out of our comfort zone and just like be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great thing for us.
Like you have to be okay with asking someone for help, and it's
Right.
like you can't be shy of that. Like especially the transportation. Like
Yes.
that was
No, but I think we like mastered
Yeah.
public transportation,
We
which
do
I
it.
which I think is like a really good skill to have.
Yeah.
Like I would
Yes.
they have like taxis and stuff, but we really took advantage of like the metro and the buses.
because it's a cheaper ticket.
It is cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's quicker. It was quicker.
It's quicker.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like with it.
Switzerland to leave the airport, we had to take like an 80. I don't even know whatever currency.
Oh my god. It was
Swiss
like
francs?
Swiss francs.
Yeah.
But like
And
they're
like that's like $100 basically.
Mhm.
Wow.
for like a 20-minute ride. Yeah.
Oh.
That was an Uber. I
Right,
don't know,
yeah.
I don't know if you specified that,
sorry,
but
didn't specify that,
so
but
so next time, if there is a next time that we go to Switzerland, we know to take
take the train.
Yeah. Were there any other cultural differences you guys noticed that were like very shocking to you there?
Okay, one big thing for me was like going to school and like everybody does dress up. I don't know, like me personally, I get up, I like if I'm not feeling it, I'll put sweats and a sweatshirt on and go.
Right.
Like I'll get ready, but like I don't want to like put a full face of makeup on, like do my hair, putting in an effort on my appearance when like going to to class was
Yeah.
definitely hard for me. Like
Yeah.
because I'm so used to waking up like 45 minutes like before my class starts. I don't know, but as the semester went on, like I feel like I did give up a little bit on that. That was definitely a culture shock for me because
Yeah.
I feel like I don't see that here at all.
No, not as much.
No.
Their pipes are very small, so you cannot flush toilet paper.
Oh.
You have to put it in the trash. Yep. And that might be a thing for Italy too.
What?
Yes.
When we were in
When we were in
Rome,
Rome, actually, that's a lie. When we were in
Yeah.
Rome, we could flush it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That
Greece,
is crazy.
Yep.
so that was definitely something to get used to.
Barcelona was the same, right? Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So I
So
mean,
you just had like a designated trash?
Yeah,
Yes.
in every bathroom.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was hard. That was
Yeah.
really hard. It's like, oh, okay, all right, this is
Gotta
different.
get used to this.
Something that I thought was interesting, and they explained this to us like when we did orientation, just some things that like local Greeks will do, like when communicating. If they say yes, it's more like a nod instead of
Yeah.
like actually saying something.
Like you would think this is like it's just like a weird like.
No, I think it was like I don't even know. They would do some sort of like head motion that would like
Yeah.
insinuate that they're
Indicate
saying
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they would also like do this thing where like they'd be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that like okay or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
That's so, that's
Yeah.
really
we
weird.
should know that. But like again, they have different like
Like mannerisms,
yes,
Right.
yes, that
communication.
we do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was different. I was like, wait, because I remember myself like I had an interaction and I didn't understand. I was like, wait, was that like
They're
yes or
like,
no?
and we're like, oh.
Like this is different.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, no, right.
Like-
It's like an awkward moment of silence.
Oh my god. So going back into budgeting, what is the best advice you can give for like having the best experience possible, but also like budgeting well, managing your money type thing?
When it comes to trips and stuff, like I would plan beforehand, not
Yes.
like months in advance, but like for trips, I feel like we definitely planned like a month in advance at least. The best trips are always the ones that are like unplanned too. Like we
Right.
definitely went on like some spontaneous trips, which turned out to be like super fun. But to be more cost effective, I guess, like just like planning a little bit in advance. And I don't know, something that I tried to do, but I really didn't stick to it, was like in Excel, like coming up with like a budget, like, or just like giving yourself like a rough estimate, like on food, you want to spend this a month, shopping this, travel this. And also, I guess maybe just like spreading out where you travel, I guess. In Italy, you can definitely go to a ton of places through train, which is
Yeah.
way cheaper than flying.
When we were in Switzerland, it's like you could easily take like the train to
To Milan.
Yeah. And I wish we kind of did that more instead of. I mean, we didn't spend much when we took a plane ride. Like it was maybe
Like
the
I say,
most
the
was-
most we spent was like probably like 170, 180.
Yeah, it really wasn't
Yeah.
that bad, but I wish like maybe we did take the train more, like to go to different countries.
Yeah.
But again, when we were in different countries, we took the train or we walked. Like Rome, we did.
Oh my gosh. I think one of the days we like walked a half marathon.
Yeah, no, we did. Like seriously, and
Oh
I
my
mean it was
God.
great because like we ate
And-
so much pasta and everything.
Yeah.
It ended up
Burned it off.
No,
burned it off,
right,
but
right.
like especially like in the Barcelona, like we used the train. We we also did like a hop on hop off thing, like a
Yeah,
bus
like,
tour. Which
yeah.
was
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
that's
To
cool.
do that and like walk around the city that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think just like planning in advance, when we did certain like things in different countries, like when we went to Barcelona, we saw I think it's Sagrada
Familia, yeah.
Like
that
this
was
beautiful church, and we bought
Mhm.
tickets in advance. Thank God,
Oh
because
yes, buy tickets in advance. Like we wanted to see the Vatican in Rome, and we tried to look that day. Oh,
We
yeah, that's
couldn't.
sold out. It
Yeah.
was so definitely, if you want to see certain attractions, I would look at it in advance.
Okay.
You could also do last minute trips though, because some of our roommates were like, "Oh my God, we just found a $50
Yeah.
ticket to like."
to
what?
like Milan, I
Yeah.
think.
And I was like, "Whoa!" Like you could do that, but
Right.
for me, because I have anxiety and I need to plan things
Yes.
in advance, we booked
That's
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be me.
And give yourself enough time to go to the airport. I guess like early morning flights aren't like
They're
they're
less likely to be delayed.
Yeah.
So
And
I mean,
we-
it does stink to get up early, but book them because
Yeah.
you'll get there
Get there
no
on time.
basically
Mhm.
no problem.
Yeah. I think we only ran into one issue where like when we were going home from Switzerland, our flight was delayed, so we didn't get home until like 2:30 or something.
In the morning,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Oh.
It happens.
It happens. It's all part of the experience.
Exactly.
Go on trips with a bunch of people.
Oh
Mhm.
yes.
Or at least like for me and Brianna, we always went with one of our other roommates. And so it was just three of us. It wasn't a lot, but we did go on other trips like with more people. And so that definitely like splits the cost up.
Yeah.
We stayed in
Yes.
Airbnbs. We didn't do any hostels. Sometimes I wish we
we
did,
did
but
experience it.
but
I
also
wish-
hostels are kind of iffy. Like I know that like people, I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. So we just stuck to Airbnbs, and they weren't like we never spent like
they were never that expensive.
yeah
really.
we
Yeah.
never split like more than 100
Yeah.
each.
It's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say go with like people that you make friends with just to like split the costs on some things.
Along the lines of living situation,
Mm.
what was your housing like?
So we lived in an apartment building,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe there was like 7 rooms, like
Yeah.
7 apartment rooms, but within those rooms there was 12 people. We didn't even know that going in. We thought we
No.
were getting roomed with like 6 to 8 people,
Yeah.
and when they said 12, we were like, what? Like,
Ooh, this might be hard.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
especially, I don't know, like living in a room with 12 girls, especially like, you know, like drama's inevitable, I
Yeah.
guess. There was 2 single bedrooms, and then the rest were doubles. So me and
Okay.
Brianna shared a room. We had
Bunk
bunks.
bed?
We had bunks.
That
we
was
had
the
bunk
top.
Wow.
But it was nice. We had a full kitchen, and then between the 12 of us, we had 4 bathrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
not
we
bad.
like
Doable.
although it's a lot of people, we had plenty of space.
2 fridges too.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
Also, if
Oh.
you're gonna live with that many people, you guys need to like probably pick a shelf or a section, label your food, because again, you don't want anybody taking your stuff. Because again, that did happen, but that's okay. You know, we all figured it out. But again, it was an experience. Like, it was a
Yeah.
great time. We had a porch too, like a balcony.
Yeah, like every single bedroom connected to this porch. So like you
Yeah.
had a sliding door that would go right onto the balcony,
That's nice.
and it was huge. And
So
it was
there's
like,
a good amount of space
Right,
for all
yes,
of you guys.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
good.
It was definitely so very interesting, like living with a bunch of people who were not from the East Coast. Because like
Right.
us personally,
Yeah.
we've never been to like the West Coast or even like the Midwest,
Mm-hmm.
and so like a ton of people were from like Colorado,
Seattle. Right?
yes, yeah,
Mhm.
Seattle,
Um,
yeah. So like
Nebraska. So it was like all.
yeah, they were all
different
over the
parts.
place, and it was just so interesting, just like meeting new people that were from different areas and kind of just like learning like what their life is like when they're home in a way, and just how like that differentiates from like being on the East Coast. You'd think that like I don't know, everyone in the U.S. is the same, I guess, but
Right.
like no, not at
No.
all.
And what classes did you guys take, and like how was your experience with that?
So I'm a business major, but I actually started college being a math major with the intentions of being a teacher, but then that's just something that just I was not interested in anymore, so I switched to business. And so my pathway like is a little like I'm on track credit-wise, but like I had to take like 2 like business classes, I guess, one being macroeconomics, other being like managerial accounting, which was great. And then I took a psych class and an art history class, and we actually did our art history class together.
Oh
That's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. When it came to like my business classes, my accounting professor, I thought she was awesome. Like I thought she was great. I don't want to say the other professors were bad, but I just feel like I didn't absorb like the content of like the teaching style that they were doing. And I think that was like a common thing that all the professors had. It was like, I don't know, it was just like a PowerPoint. And it was like they read off of that. They definitely would prepare us for exams and stuff by like giving us study guides and stuff, but also it's hard when you're traveling and it's not your top priority. When it came to midterms, I was definitely a little unprepared. I didn't fail anything, but I definitely had to like lock in when it came to finals. And I hope I did fine. I don't know. We didn't get the grades back, but like I knew like exam wise, everything was fine. I would recommend if anyone's looking to study abroad, saving your gen eds to go
because it's better in the long run. So for Greece, schooling is very different, especially for Athens. So we went to the school called Duri, and basically your grade is your midterms 40% of your grade, and then your final is 60%. You're graded on nothing else. You don't have homework.
I haven't even thought about that, like what you're actually graded on.
Right.
And that's the thing, like that's also like when you go abroad, it's like I feel like the last thing you think about is school, honestly. Like that's like honestly,
you're
like,
planning everything else, and then you get there, you're like, wait, I have class.
Right. Like some people did go for the school because like let's say like you're an art history major, there's a lot of history that comes like with
Greece,
and stuff like that, but I personally didn't choose to go for the school. I tried obviously, but it definitely wasn't my priority.
For my school specifically, we have something called breadth requirements, which is anything outside your major. So students at UMass always will save those up for abroad, which is what I'm doing. And so taking all sorts of classes like not finance, business while I'm there. Like it's a semester off. It really is.
Really, that's how it felt. That's really how it felt. I'm like, now I got to go back to reality.
Which I'm kind of nervous for.
That's tough with going in the fall. Like you have another school semester. Like for me, I come back, I have summer.
Exactly.
So
that's true.
That's tough.
True. I took classes for my minor, which actually I thought was better because I took a little break from my major. Like that was nice. I took diversity of psychology and like social issues, human learning, memory. That was a hard class, but I did it, got through it. I took social psychology and the art history class. I had the same professor for 2 of my classes, and like she was amazing. I really did like her. She even said, please, like, let's communicate in the future, which that was nice. That was nice. Yeah. I do think, yes, the teaching style is like, it's literally just PowerPoints and you really just write notes. Some professors tell you what's on the midterm and final. Some of them are just like, study everything. And it's like, I didn't do well with that. I was like, what? Like, I have to study everything? But again, you end up doing fine if you kind of put in your head what's important, then you'll be okay. I study like right after, a class. Like, I'm just kind of like that, which is too much, right? Too much. But again, like,
she'd be like studying for like our final right after midterm started. Like, and I'm like, I'm not that type of person. I also think they hold you accountable more.
They do.
So like it's your responsibility to come prepared, you know what I mean? And like if you need help, they will help you, but it's your job to really like know like what they're talking about. And another thing that I wanted to bring up was like the students at the school that we went to. With the program that we went through, you have to go to the school that they like. I don't know. That's just like what they do. And so it was a private school, I believe, but all of the public schools there are free. Something that we learned is like with the private school that we went to, it's like a lot of students who like come from like rich families. Everyone was very like dressed nice with like
Prada
very
sunglasses.
like very like very like luxurious like brands.
Yeah.
Something that I thought was like so crazy, and this was like kind of like a culture shock to me. I think a lot of the students just like didn't care. I guess like they would walk in like 30 minutes late into like a 50-minute lecture with like no backpack, no notebook. They would just sit there and then like leave when it was over. And like some students did get like reprimanded for it, I guess. I mean, they don't get in trouble, they get talked to, but there it's not taken as seriously. Finishing your undergrad degree,
it takes longer.
Yeah,
like,
it takes longer there than compared to here. Like you're done in 4 years, but there some people finish like with their bachelor's at like 25, 23. So school definitely takes longer there, but I also think it's because it's more relaxed.
It was definitely a little culture shock too. So obviously when it rains and it pours, like we go to class, like it doesn't matter. Oh no, in Greece they cancel. It's optional. You don't have to go to class. That's crazy. I was like, no way. But like obviously, like,
At home, it's like a blizzard, and they're like, school's on.
No, right,
Right.
right. And you show up to class soaked, you're drenched, and they're like, all right, everyone, like.
yeah. So I was like one of maybe like 2 or 3 in a class one day, and I was like, why is no one here? And she was like, well, it's raining. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, this is different, right?
That's
and
cool.
she's like, oh, wait, at your university, like, you go when it's raining? I'm like, yeah, when it's pouring, we're there.
And so how did you guys go about like making it to class, balancing your schedule with also being able to really experience it abroad?
I picked earlier classes to take. Like, I think my earliest was like 8:30, and I was kind of like out the latest at like 2 or something. I typically like just studied like during the week. Like, I did not study at all on the weekends, which I was proud of myself, honestly, because I usually am just like, all right, I'll save it for like a Sunday or something.
Right.
But no, because I knew that like we wanted to do things like even just around Athens, but also our excursions were on the weekends. I don't know if it'll be like that for you when you first go, but like for us when we first got there, it was excursions probably every weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we had some with our school, like with
like
Doreen,
planned.
but also with our program.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. We got to do 2 different things.
That is cool.
Yeah, I really prioritized like my school during the week. I was like, I knew I was gonna be like, you know, at my dorm, not really doing much. And on the weekends we'd be traveling. So yeah, I really didn't focus much on school on the weekends, which was great.
That's awesome.
I would do most of my schoolwork and studying, I guess, like after my classes, I would just go to the library and just, because I don't know why, but I just could not focus when we were in our apartment. I think the same was like with all of our roommates, honestly. The best schedule I feel like would just to have like to do class like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh yes.
Their attendance policy too was like for Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, you could miss 9 classes.
Unexcused.
Yeah, and then Tuesday, Thursday, you can miss 6. So I feel like we never got to that point where we were even like coming close to it. Like we did miss class like once in a while to go away, but when we would plan our trips, our classes, especially on Fridays, would be done at like noon. So we would go at like 1 or 2, and we'd still have like most of the day.
And I would also say like if you can, like definitely, and if like you're able to do that, pick Tuesday, Thursday classes so you have that Friday and Monday off.
Yeah.
You know? Because I know some of our roommates, like they traveled all the time, and like again, because they had Tuesday, Thursday classes.
Right.
But again, also I feel like that wouldn't be great for me. It'd be 4 classes in a row. That's crazy. I couldn't do
Right,
that. But
yeah.
I just split it up.
Does your like program have excursions that they're gonna take you on?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they accommodate with the school. So like they'll
Yes.
never
Right.
like make you miss class, you know? So I'm assuming that most of yours will probably be on the weekends. It was this, like for us it was the weekends. But then like our own trips, like we would like miss like a Friday, or when it came to Thanksgiving, we left on Wednesday.
So it's pretty manageable.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
for sure.
definitely, yeah.
That's good.
If I were like to give any advice, I wouldn't take, I took 4 classes. I wouldn't take anything more than 5.
Yeah, no.
Especially if you have the intentions of traveling a lot, I wouldn't take too much.
Not that you're focusing just on travel, but like
Big part of it.
Like I felt like it was kind of a break, like just from reality and everything going on. Like it was just nice to just like do something for myself and like with people and just really enjoy my time and
Because
not take
Yeah,
school
it's
so
a
seriously.
once in a lifetime experience.
It is.
exactly.
It
yeah.
is.
And you do only get to do it once. So it's
Yeah.
like take advantage of it while you can.
As for the excursions, what excursions did you guys go on, and like what was your favorite?
So literally, like I think within the first weekend, our school took us to the Acropolis, which was great. It was so cool to see. We went to the
It was.
Acropolis. They did like a tour of downtown.
Oh,
we went
yeah.
to an area in Greece called Delphi.
Yes, and that was cool. We saw like
Yes.
the Oracle, which is really important. There was like a really nice like town downtown called Arakova, and it's like people who live in Greece, like they go there to ski and stuff. So I mean, it wasn't really that cold when we went. Thank
But it was
God.
like in the mountains type
yeah,
stuff.
it was
so
it was like a really nice view. I think
Yeah.
that one was my
yeah,
favorite.
me too.
We also saw like Temple of Poseidon. Oh, it was
Oh,
like the really nice sunset
Yeah.
on the
Oh.
like by the ocean. That was gorgeous. We did a dancing class.
We did,
Really?
yes.
We did a cooking
And-
class.
yes.
That was honestly cool. I
Yeah.
That's
honestly
cool.
really enjoyed the cooking class because I can't cook to save my life. So that was really cool to
What'd
do.
you make?
We made this so it's like a Greek lasagna in a way. It's called pasticcio. Yeah.
I don't know.
And then we made our own tzatziki,
Tzatziki.
which
Ooh,
was amazing.
that sounds so good.
And then we made baklava.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow, that's a great meal.
yeah.
Right, right, yeah.
good.
We also went to the Olympic Stadium. I think that's what it is.
Oh my God, that was cool.
And it like where like the first ever Olympics was held.
We stood on like the
the podium. I don't know, where it was like first, second, third.
That was cool to
that's
do.
cool. Where'd you guys travel outside of Greece?
So we went to Santorini, Mykonos. Well, that's sorry. We went to Santorini, Mykonos. We also went to an island called Andros.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
And then, but outside of Greece, we went to Barcelona.
Which, if you really like to go out,
Yes, yeah, they do.
our roommate was like, "We need to go." We went to a club called Downtown, and
yeah.
it was really fun. Very, very good time. So you should definitely
Good
go. We went to Rome, and we did a cooking class there. We
Yes.
made like homemade fettuccine that was literally to die for. Oh my God, we did a 10 Wonders of Rome tour, which was
that's
really cool
cool.
too.
Yeah, I kind of wish we went inside of the Colosseum.
Me too.
Considering like we stayed in an Airbnb like literally like right
Walking
outside.
distance
Yeah.
from the Colosseum.
But we like we saw the outside of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
took
yeah.
pictures, whatever. We saw the Trevi Fountain, the Spanish Steps, I
Yes.
think.
a lot of high-end stores, which was
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, the shopping.
oh my gosh. And we went to Switzerland, which was amazing and beautiful, but very cold. So pack a jacket. We went during Christmas. There's the Christmas markets,
Yeah.
which were really beautiful.
Yeah. If I had a recommendation, we didn't go, but I know that like if anyone likes to ski or snowboard,
Oh yeah.
I think Zermatt is like a really good place to go.
Yes.
My roommate, when she went abroad in Cyprus, she went there and she loved it. But Switzerland was probably the most expensive that and we knew that going into it. That's why we
Yes.
spent
Right.
the least amount of time there.
Yeah.
Like I think we went to McDonald's one night
and we
because-
spent like 80 Swiss francs. Yeah,
yes,
it was
which-
ridiculous.
Yes, a meal was like 20 Swiss francs, which
Yeah.
which was like I think it was like $23.
Yeah.
Did
And
they
I was
have
like,
different food at the McDonald's?
They did, which was
Yes.
cool.
Yeah,
Like
because
don't-
I've seen that.
Yeah, yeah. Like they'll
Yeah.
have like more desserts and pastries.
yeah,
Right.
they
Which is
do.
not really that.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have that here too, but like
Yeah.
it's different. You can
Like
get
they
a
had like
donut
a
at
they had a
McDonald's
donut.
there. It's like wow.
I'll get a
I'll
donut.
get
and
a
fries.
We also had fondue there. It was like
Which-
it was
yes.
30 a person though, and we only dipped it in bread.
In bread. That's
we
it. Yes. So just be prepared to spend a little bit more for that trip.
So I think definitely doing your research of like where you're going and just like knowing what to like watch out for, I guess.
yeah, I will say one kind of regret I have that we didn't go to is Norway to see the Northern Lights.
I know.
'Cause that's
That was like a crazy
But
expensive
again-
It
flight,
is
though.
expensive.
super expensive. But again, hey, it's okay. We go back one day.
So, what was your favorite place overall that you went to for both travel and also for food?
Rome.
Yeah.
Rome
The
for
pasta.
both or for the
Yes.
food?
Ooh, I would say, you know what? Santorini was a beautiful trip. I would say,
yeah.
we like honestly that was like probably our best trip, like the place that we've gone to.
We rode ATVs.
Oh,
like all
yeah.
along,
That's
like
so cool.
all along the island. Like this certain part of
Oh, yeah.
of Santorini called Oya. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but they're like very famous for like their sunset. It's like I don't even know. I feel like it's like you look up Santorini on Google and it's like the first picture that might pop up is like a sunset with like along like with all like the blue like stuff and
Yes.
whatever. And like that's literally what we saw. But be prepared. There's a lot of
people. Yeah.
like
Oh,
for
like
that
flood,
sunset
like,
picture.
yes.
Yeah. So
And also like Santorini, we got to watch Mamma Mia by the sunset.
Oh.
yes,
Outs-
yeah, that was great.
That's
Yeah.
So
It was
like
really cool.
views wise, I think Santorini, but food definitely Rome.
Rome.
And the best pasta that I had was from like a hole in the wall, like I don't even know.
Restaurant.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
like,
it's like the places that you don't expect to
Right.
be good that are like the
also a
best.
tip when you go to Rome or anywhere in Italy,
Mm-hmm.
the gelato that's covered is the good gelato. The one that's like super mountainy is, I mean, it's good, but it's not.
I
like,
guess it's not like
authentic.
authentic.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Just-
interesting.
right?
Yes, yes. Like, I guess the pistachio gelato you'd expect to be green. It's not. It's like a brown.
Oh.
That's like the more. Yeah,
Okay.
I know. So again,
So like the best like food and like desserts I feel like are from like places that aren't the most like aesthetic. Not saying that like places that are pretty have like awful food.
yes,
Because we've been to some restaurants that were really nice and they had great food, but like the best pasta that I ever had was from like a place that I was like, what is this? I was like I had like the worst expectations going into it and it was so good.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
What kind of pasta?
yucky.
Oh, so good.
So good. So good.
Anything else you guys really wish you knew before going abroad?
That it's gonna go by fast. It's just so crazy, like how fast it went by. And I know everyone says that, but I didn't, like, there were definitely some moments within the trip where I was like, oh my God, like I just want to go home. Like, not saying that I hated it, but like you definitely have those feelings sometimes of like, I really wish I could just be home or just like go home for a weekend type thing. I don't know, like it really does fly by. And I feel like you do come out like with a completely different mindset, I think. And I feel like I'm so much more appreciative of like my life.
Like I don't want to sound corny, but
like in general, I think I'm so much more appreciative of like my parents and just like what they provide for me, and
because
just
honestly,
like what we have, because seeing like what people don't have is just like, I don't know, like it made me so sad, and it made me really feel like I don't know. And I feel like I've never seen so many like homeless people. This is like such like a off topic thing, but I saw so many like homeless people and like everywhere that we went, honestly. And it really like broke my heart that, and obviously we have it in Boston too, but I don't know. I just feel like a lot that I learned like through locals too, a lot of people just aren't fortunate, like economically speaking. I don't think like Greece was in the best situation, like speaking a couple years ago. Like we learned through our local friend, like the cost of living is going up, but their wages aren't like that money. So it's just like an unfortunate situation that like we couldn't do anything about it, but it just like it gives me a different perspective on life and makes me more appreciative.
Stuff like that's like so eye-opening.
Yeah, it really is. It really does change you. Like I was like, oh, what am I like? I'm not gonna be different, but it's just you have a different outlook basically, just on like how you handle things, how you, I guess, talk to people. Like you learn to like just have more patience, especially communicating as well. Like with people who don't speak the same language as you. You learn to be more patient, which I definitely learned because I'm not patient. But yeah, no.
We're so privileged to say that like we were able to do this, you know? Because I don't know, it's just like, when are you ever gonna say that like you were 20 like and you visited like 4 different countries within the, like the span of like 4 months? And I know like some people have gone to like a lot more. Like I know people who have gone to like 10, like 12 different countries within like however long they were studying abroad. But I think it's like, I feel like very lucky that I was able to do this at such a young age, honestly, because I don't know if we're ever going to be able to do it again. Like as much as I'd love to, it's like, I don't know.
I think it's such an important time to do it too.
Right.
Yes.
Like to
it
have
really is.
that mind, like eye-opening experience now versus like down the road.
Right.
100%.
Any other advice that you'd give to anyone who's considering or maybe nervous about studying abroad?
Go into it with an open mind.
Try not to stress yourself out, because I did a lot of that.
You will meet people, because especially if you're going alone, like there's other people that are going alone as well. So like you're not the only one. Just keep a positive mindset, because you definitely might hit a point where, I don't know, like you feel lonely, I guess. When you come out of the experience, like you will be so grateful that you did it, you know?
Yeah, and I would literally say just do it. Like literally, like it's like I had a pit in my stomach for the longest time. I was like, there's no way I can be away from my family for this long.
Right.
But again, having a journal too, and like keeping a bunch of like stuff like from Greece. Like I have train tickets, plane tickets. Like I have literally picked like just like, it's so stupid, but napkins from restaurants that we went to, like just to have
No, but it's awesome. Like
But
have
you know what
all
I
the
mean?
memories from it.
Yes, and it like
Because it flies
just,
by.
and it teaches you to again be more independent too. Like again, yes, we had each other, but it's not like we were with each other 24/7 too.
Right.
You know, like we also had to do our own thing as well. You really become like a different person, like navigating a whole new world almost.
Yeah.
So
just do it.
worth it. Just do it.
I'm so excited to do it so soon and to share everything about it afterwards. And you guys just made me so much more excited to go.
Oh, yay. I can't wait for you to go.
Oh,
You'll have so much fun.
You will.
But thank you guys so much for coming on.
This
was so much fun. I think this is going to help so many people out. I just learned so much. And like I said, I'm so excited now. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, wherever you're tuning in, and keep leaving suggestions. I hope this was helpful for everyone. But I think that's where we'll wrap things up.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.